Well, hello everyone. We are back another day with another build. Today we are starting Revell's 148 scale Tornado F.3 Advanced skill level 5. So we're hoping that this build is a little bit better and more detailed and goes together quite nicely. I have taken the liberty of taking a lot of the parts out of the box already and starting to kind of paint them a little bit. We've got a nice instruction booklet that Revell has made with this. Nice color pages. We've got multiple pages showing all the different paint colors that they want. Diagrams. The illustrations are nice and clear on this one. Nice color pictures all throughout the whole book. I'll give them props. They did their work on this, that's for sure. Now, as you can see with the color schemes that they want to paint on this, they basically just want plain gray color scheme throughout the whole plane. Either this one here or this one here. But I am not going to be painting it to look like the box. It's not going to wind up looking anything like that. I am going with a darker gray and green camouflage theme. And that is what we're going to go for. I'm going to bring up a picture and I'll show you what I'm going for on this one. I got to close all these windows here. Let's see. Let's pick one of these. That looks like a good enough picture. So this is what we're going for. Right there. So we're going to go with that kind of a darker gray, which I have already taken the liberty of spray painting a lot of the parts on this thing. Kind of a, to me it calls it a medium gray. I don't want to go too dark. So as you can see, I've kind of, it came in this really light gray color. As you can see here, it came really light gray, almost a white, but not quite. So yeah, it's a really, this is a big contrast. And there are a lot of sprues on this build. There's 3, here's a 4, 5, 6. So there's a lot of pieces to this thing. In spite of the fact of how small the wings are. The wings are very small in this thing. I'm going to guess that this thing's going to wind up being a very small plane comparatively to the much larger U.S. Air Force planes. You can see just on this part here, this guy, that's the basic, about 3/4 of the bottom of the fuselage. That could actually be maybe just the engines go in the back here. I don't know. I haven't looked really through the book yet. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. As I like to do is I like to go through the book because they always reference either letters or numbers for the paint colors on all the pieces. So as you're building it, it'll basically say, hey, this should be Z, this is H, this is D, those are the different colors. And so I wind up having to go flip back to the beginning of the book and look at the chart and see what color that is, what color that is. So what I like to do ahead of time is I go through it and I see, and I'll write down throughout the whole book the colors so that I know just by looking at that, that's black, that's light gray, this needs to be orange, and this is green, or whatever it is, right? That's kind of where I'm at now. So what they've done, this is actually, it looks like This is actually from Germany. Oh yeah, right there at the bottom, Revell.de. So the first language throughout this whole thing is German, and the second language is English. Um, so I'm writing even on here where it shows the colors at the top of them. I'm writing this is light gray, even though it says it down in little fine print right there. So I'm just writing it bigger because, well, I need these. So I'm just going through each one, and they've even got mixtures, like they want 80% light gray and 20% white for this one, which you can maybe see on that camera. But yeah, so I'm just writing it on there and bigger. I mean, why not just do lighter gray? Something. This is iron, and that's rust. Silver. They differentiate between silver, and on the other page there's aluminum. So got a lot of different colors on this plane that I'm going to wind up basically going in what they want. Light gray, here's light gray. They want light gray here, light gray here. And I'm just going to use the same light gray. And you're not going to be able to tell that, hey, this is 80% and this is only 70%. And so that's such a big difference. No, it's not. You're not going to see it. Red. They call it fiery red. Yeah, it's red. Can you read that one? Lufthansa blue. What the hell is Lufthansa? What kind of a color is Lufthansa? Lufthansa. I've never heard of that word. So I'm going to ask the Google. Lufthansa. There's a Lufthansa Airlines. No, I want the color. Again, it's coming up with Lufthansa Airlines. Lufthansa. Oh, I guess that was dangerous. You might have seen a contact color on there or something. So I shouldn't do that. So let's try Lufthansa blue. Again, Lufthansa Airlines. And it's just a dark blue. Oh, there we go. Revell Aqua Paint. So it's just like a dark blue. It's kind of that blue. Okay, so we're calling that blue. That's this gray. What do we got here? Oh, how to mix your colors, UP. And that's it. Okay. So, see, normally I have this done ahead of time before I'm recording. I think I'll probably edit this out and shorten up my video for my YouTube because this is this is my own thing. This doesn't really have much to do with the build. As usual, they want you to start building the cockpit pieces first. That's typical aircraft thing. But I need ZHDG. Z is the gray. I think most of this thing is just going to be gray. H. Dark gray. D. Green. G. We call it iron. I'm going to call it gunmetal. that's it for that. B, anthracite. I don't have anthracite. I've seen it a couple of times. Anthracite is not just black, and it's not gunmetal. I can't remember what color it actually is. It's just a really dark gray, which doesn't really look gray with the camera on my phone, but yeah, it's just a dark gray. It's like a, why don't they just call it fucking dark gray? You always gotta, so I'm gonna call that dark gray. Maybe really dark gray. How about almost black? Would that be a better one? Almost black. What color are you going to paint that? Almost black. No. Dark gray. I. Beige. No. Oh, what's the clear green? I'm going to say light, medium gray, and medium gray. So when I say that, light gray and light medium gray, that could be just as simple. So this is what the color I painted the plane in. I have it marked F.15 because I wanted to remember the exact color I painted my F.15. So there's medium gray, and I could go, hey, here's a light gray, and then let's pick a different gray that's not as light, right? So you can see they're all different, all three of them. Come on, focus. There, you can see they are different grays, right? So I can pick one, I can pick the other. Got so many different grays from painting all these American aircraft. Sidewinder missiles seem to all be the same color. Doesn't matter what plane they're on. They're pretty much a light gray with like a gunmetal tip. Although this one was different. So forget what I just said. And that's it. So our color coding is done. That part is finished. So we can get to actually starting to do something on this. It's freaking hot up here. I swear, by the time summertime actually comes around, I'm going to have my shirt off doing this, and I'm going to be the topless modeler. Anyway, so, because I want to, another thing I like to do, I take my Jiffy marker, and on each sprue, of course, they always have a little letter, right? This one happens to be B. I like to be able to see it from a distance. So I take my Jiffy marker and I do that. And I'll write it on the other side too, in case I happen to have it flipped over for some reason, right? And I like to do that to all of them so that I can go, oh yeah, this is B, this is D, this is F, whatever. Just a little thing I do. And that's A. Yes, they've been marked. There's enough screws on this in this model that they actually have S. I think that might be the first time I've actually seen one that actually goes down to S. That's a lot of letters to go through. Although there are still a few in the box that I haven't pulled out yet because they're the weapon ones. And that's R. This one is R. Well, but I suppose like they have this one little screw, right? And that's M. P. I think that's it for now, because I do have more. I have more, but these are just the weapons. So these are going to be like basically at the end, right? So that's that part. Now, so to build this seat, I need E. You know what's kind of ironic is I don't remember doing E. A, C, E, B, and C. And then R and S. And P. Maybe it's still in there. There's E and I. D, E, and I. D, H, and I, and E. And I'm looking for E, so I gotta open this one up. Yeah, I know you can see the color that it was molded in. Well, for a second my camera froze. So you can see the contrast in the color, right? It's a big difference. Since I got this, I might as well mark the D. What's this one? H. Of course, when I spray paint those, that's all going to be gone. There's E. So it only got one seat? No, it's got two. So I have to open up the other bag too. But I am going to put these back in the bag. It's just like landing gear and shit that I'm not going to have to deal with for quite a bit. So I'm guessing the other E is on here. Never get enough D, right? Did I just say that? I think I did. So we got 2 E's for 2 seats. 2 sets of weapons, basically 2 sets of weapons. There we go. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do because they want that. What was Z? I never did write it down. Z is gray and dark gray. So I'm going to hit these with a slightly lighter gray. And then what I did the rest of it is. Set up my table. I haven't set up my table for spray painting. Okay. I'm going to hit these with a little bit of gray. I think that's going to be good enough for now. I don't think there's all that many pieces. 1, 2, 3. That's those. And then where are you? E9. And you want to be dark gray. And you want to be orange. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll let that dry. You get to watch me eat while that's drying. There's not really too many pieces to the interior. On the bottom half of the fuselage, they've got some kind of markings, but I'm not sure what they mean. Oh, make a hole. They want me to drill holes in certain spots in the bottom of the fuselage. And I'm not sure why. I don't know. I need A. Because I'm going to need I can put this together and spray paint it the color I need. Because I kind of hit this with the dark gray a little bit. Not really with a real intention of trying to paint that piece specifically, because I wasn't sure, you know, maybe I need to paint a lighter gray or a darker gray or whatever, right? When I was spray painting the whole thing, I was focusing more on all the external pieces, like the wings and stuff. See, a lot of guys, they practically build the whole thing and then they spray paint the outside, masking off stuff and all that kind of stuff. And then of course they're using airbrushes, and with the airbrush you can get such a fine little spot, right? You can spray paint like a little tiny spot without getting a lot of overspray. You don't really have the luxury with these things. So I like to try and paint as much as I can before assembly. To minimize what needs to be covered once it's assembled. And that's just kind of been my technique, what I've done all along. And glue these pieces together. I realize I just mumbled that. I'm going to glue these pieces together. I'm going to paint this the same color as the seats. No, I'm not. I'm going to use a different gray. Which gray am I going to use? I'm going to use that gray. There. Now I can let that dry. They want me to paint the floor. They want me to paint the middle there and the floor dark green. It's like what they put down there, carpet. So products can have nice comfy feet. Okay. That's the only part they wanted gray. The sides they want dark gray. I've got dark gray in a brush, but not in a spray. Or do I? No, that's blue. So yeah. I need more water. So I use this as a dark gray, and I'm going to get myself some water so I can clean my brush, and I will be right back. And while I'm at it, some more water on. Okay, I'm back. Now, we're going to trade. This is not quite. It's not like a super dark gray, but dark enough. I don't know if this side needs to be painted or not, but just in case, I'd rather paint it now than find out once it's assembled that I need to paint, and then have to try and maybe get in with a small brush into a fine area. Okay, that's one of them. I don't know if you can tell that they're a different color now. Let's see if I do that. Yeah, definitely. One's darker than the other. we go. So that's done. I have to give that a couple minutes to dry before I start playing around with them. But while that's drying, I can move on to painting other pieces that need to be done, such as E9, which is this guy here, because I need to paint some beige and some dark gray. So that's perfect. So I'm going to try, see, the seat belts are supposed to be beige. So I'm going to try and not paint them with the dark gray so that the beige stands out a little better. And then the seat back cushion is supposed to be green. Of course, that piece doesn't really matter if I touch it with the dark gray first, because the green is basically the olive drab, and it will cover any flaws that I happen to make. I'm really pointing with my finger. So I'm getting close to running out. It's okay. It's almost done. There we go. Okay, so those are done. Tidy it up again. So with those done, I can grab the beige. Do that. Use a smaller brush for that though. I'll use this one. And so I need some beige. Beige or like a khaki color will work. Get the same effect. Let's hope I have one. Let's see, I've got dark sand. That's white. do you think? Dark sand or brown sand? Look at that. The dark is actually lighter. Since it's supposed to be beige, that's kind of a beige. I'm going to use that dark sand, even though it's not dark. Didn't know better, I'd say that's flesh. And you can see I'm pretty good on the headrest part, the contrast right there. And you will be able to see them there better when I've got the seat cushion part painted. Just because I like to, as you can see, I like to paint the top of the lid to give me a real representation of the color that's in here. Sometimes what you see on the side of the bottle doesn't always match what it really looks like when you paint. So I like to do that just so that I can see just by looking into my little container. This is what the color really looks like, right? So that's why you notice, I've got that on my gunmetal and on the blue, even though I can clearly tell that, like even on the camera, that's the same color and it looks right, but I still do it out of habit. I've brought this out, but I have not opened it yet, so that's why there's nothing on there. And same deal with this. This is gold with a blue lid. How do you like that? Is that confusing or what? Okay, olive drab. It's kind of funny, the most common color I see for aircraft seat cushions is olive drab. This makes me wonder, is there some company out there that has like a monopoly on that? And that's why you always see it in like damn near every plane. There, now you can see with the detail on the seat belts, even if it doesn't focus. And that one's done. Okay. So I don't want to leave my little tray here to let that dry like that, so I'm just going to rinse this off in the sink and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, now we have our two pieces here. I realize my camera is really, like this camera is not facing down on my desk very far. I'm working off camera a lot. I'm having to pull it back to the edge. I don't really want to do that. So clean that up a little bit. Right, we got two halves of a seat. And let's see how it's supposed to go. Fat side down. It's kind of weird. So this goes on like that. That's that. Okay, let's grab some glue. This edge, that edge, and this edge. Okay. And the other side is a similar process. All right. Then we take one of our center cushions. Which one is drier? This one definitely. Okay. And that simply goes in the middle. Kind of like, just like that, I guess. I need to find E8. E8. I need to see. How that fits in there. So I get the idea of how wide it needs to be. Interesting. Okay. So, you guys can fall off now. Glue you nicely. So all go together and be friends. You have to hold it for a minute because the center cushion kind of wants to push the sides out and not really connect. And if I try and use like a clip of some sort, it's not, I think it's that'd be detrimental. Put too much pressure. Actually, I might be able to use one of these guys because they're not too harsh. Yeah. That'll hold it. That's one seat. kind of a hokey design, not very precise, almost like they tried to put too much detail in it. You know, let's make you assemble all these pieces when we really didn't have to make you do it. But if you really think you're skill level 5, then you better be able to do this. So now that I know what I'm up against, it's a lot of extra flashing on the bottom cushion. There was on the other one, but because I had the glue all ready to go and everything like that, I didn't really have time to clean it up. But this one I do, because I haven't glued anything yet. And I still have to paint it. Painting is easy enough. This is just going to be khaki for the belt, and then olive drab. And that's, as far as painting, that's nothing. So let's get these ready. Up pretty good. Right. Okay. Start off this one. This one actually looks like it's bent. That's funny. And basically he's telling me that I'm going to have issues with this seat. Which means this might wind up being the co-pilot. And the bottom cushion. This one is molded a lot better. It definitely is not pushing everything out like the other seat is or was. It still wants to come apart, which means I'm still going to use this thing, a little alligator clip. Also use This piece is bent, it's sitting funny. Doesn't want to hold together very good. So I'm going to hold it for a while. This is the kind of thing that makes me not like Revell models. I would definitely not be requiring alligator clips to hold the pieces of the seat together on a Tamiya. But it is what it is. If I try to use one of those, maybe I can use one of these. How much? It doesn't look like it's wide enough. I do have bigger ones. I have any out. Is that going to be a lot of pressure? Stay. Don't be weird. Okay, I gotta check something. It's closed. Okay. So I can go to the bottom of the fuselage. Take that off the sprue. Alright. And I want that blocked piece, B2. B, that's R. B2. This guy. Okay, so I can get these two prepared. This is like the kind of the interior of the landing gear bay. It's kind of funny. So they want the inside of this light gray, but then it's like they're calling they literally have the instructions as pointing to the hole here as being dark gray. How do I paint a hole? Unless for some reason, I'm going to take that out of there. this just gets mounted on here. Done. It's literally showing it like this and pointing in here dark gray. That makes no sense. Oh. When this goes down on top, they want this, there's a square here, they want that dark gray. And then of course this part is light gray. Because it goes like this. Well, how do I want to address that? I need to trim this. So what am I going to call light gray? Because light gray seems to be coming up as a common theme throughout this whole thing. I could do this. This in, I think I have this brush. I have regular light gray in a brush, but not the IGA. So this is actually light gray IGN. If I spray it and I don't have a brush to match when I come up to having to paint something a little intricate that's supposed to be the same color, then I'm going to have to try and match this color, and that's damn near impossible. If I just wind up, if I just paint it with a brush and leave it at that, because I kind of have, that's a light gray. I think I even have a lighter gray than that. What's that? I've got a white gray. I want that one. I've got this one, which is considered a medium gray, but it looks actually lighter. It's almost completely solid. Well, it's got some liquid in there, but it's not much. So that's my dilemma. Do I just spray? Or do I use this? This is almost the same as that. Screw it. Spray with this. I'm going to call this light gray, which means I need to spray the bottom of this and the inside of that. Spraying the inside of this won't be probably too hard. I am going to use another one of my little guys here. First, and now I just need to take the bottom of this. Good enough. Okay. Too bad I didn't have actually this color, because that's a really light gray. But whatever. Now I gotta let that dry. I can't really do much else right now. So the next step is to put gotta put this on here. This goes down on there, and then the seats go in. And right now I'm just I want to let the seats set the way they are. I gotta let this dry. So I think I'm going to call it a night while I'm waiting for this. Yeah. Unfortunately, didn't get too much done. Oh, I'm supposed to put holes in this thing too in certain spots. So let's see how that goes. They don't even have any spots marked out for the hose. So I guess I just wing it. Anyway, so I'm going to call it a night. And yeah, see, we're done for now until next time. So, with that being said, thanks for watching. And as usual, if you want to see my past videos, you can go on my YouTube. If you want to see some pictures of my past builds that I've taken, you can check out my Instagram. And of course, I've got a Twitter now. You can message me there if you feel like it. Whatever. If you like. Anyway, like I said, thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time. I think my next one is going to be Saturday, probably in the afternoon. But yeah, so we'll see you next time. And happy modeling.